friends, and welcome to Screen Vomit, the only movie podcast for normal people. I'm, of course, your host, Kayla. Here with me is my twin colleague, Jay.
Hello.
What?
Fist away. I want to see what it comes out like.
Collie's trying to be heard today.
Yeah, I want to be heard. This is a special episode for me to be heard.
And we hear him and we acknowledge him.
Thank you.
This is a very special ep for longtime vomit heads.
Oh. We're finally, after, what? When did this movie come out? This movie has been out for a year and a half. And
I haven't said what movie yet, but we shouldn't. Let's tease.
No, I've been badgering you to watch this movie for a year and a half.
Yeah, so this is a little treat for anyone who's been listening for a while. And if you haven't, then maybe you'll
We
still
don't
like
need
it.
you.
Yeah. So we recently have had Christmas, and as of recording, yesterday was Collie's birthday.
My golden birthday.
And why is it golden?
Because I turned 28 on the 28th.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Your golden birthday. So as a little present for my best pal, Collie, I said that we could do this movie that he's been enraptured with for the last year and some change. And vomit heads have heard us talk about it. That would be the 2019 film
Crawl. Yonk. I guess that doesn't... I made a chomp, like a gator chomp with my hands. Not a video medium. Crawl! We're finally doing Crawl, babies. This is like grandma's chocolate chip cookies to me. This is home.
You think so?
This movie is like... Oh, this is good shit. Pure good.
According to Collie.
Yes. I swear to God, if in your research you found out this movie was made by a Nazi or something, I'm going to be heartbroken.
Yeah.
I know Alexandra Aja is not...
Aya.
Okay. Alexandra Aya. I'm assuming he's iffy, but... I'm just assuming! But, I love his movies.
Yeah.
This and Piranha.
I can specifically think of one that I'm sure you love.
Which one? Besides Crawl?
Your favorite movie, Horns.
He did Horns? Ah, shit.
So now we have you on record saying that you love his movies.
I guess I gotta do Horns, huh?
Maybe one of these days. Okay, so 2019 film Crawl, Collie mentioned, directed by Alexandre Aya. He also directed High Tension, if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
Very popular French cult horror film. Directed Horns, directed Piranha 3D. And then this is produced by Sam Raimi of The Evil Dead, of course.
And Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Yep.
As far as cast goes, there's really only one person that's been in anything I recognized, which is Barry Pepper. Mm-hmm. Great name, first of all.
Incredible. Who
plays her dad, was in, like, Green Mile, Saving Private Ryan, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, other actors have been in stuff, but nothing I've seen or really heard of, so... Collie, tell us the critic scores.
Critic scores for this movie are... Well, I thought they were better than this. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes, 84%.
Okay.
That's good. That is... ultimately why I went and saw this movie the first time, is I was like, that movie looks really fun, but it also could be terrible when I saw previews. And then when I saw critic scores...
You saw this in theaters, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw this once in theaters.
Yeah.
Metacritic, 60%. But Google users, that is the middle, 81%.
Famously the middle.
Call Jimmy. Tell him to eat the world, because we got the middle over here.
Oh my god. Wow, interesting. Alright, so yeah, let's watch the trailer, and then we can get into it.
That is a classic. Everything is in the trailer, and it was great. It's a great trailer.
I found it a little corny, but I found a lot of this a little corny. So.
I'm sorry, what? I don't see what's corny about this movie. This is
Really?
a heartwarming tale about an estranged daughter returning to find her estranged father amidst a hurricane in an attempt to rekindle familial love that has since gone untended. And gators.
I'm worried we're gonna fight.
Did you see the same gators I saw?
I find it hard to understand how my pal Kali is obsessed with a movie about two rich evangelical Republicans who don't get eaten by gators.
That does not come up.
It absolutely does.
Rich Republican shit?
We'll get there.
I get the rich part.
They are in Florida.
Yes.
We'll get there because it's relevant to certain aspects of the movie.
Okay, all right. You can't undo. This movie is. Look, there are two faces I have with this movie. There's like the jokey, like, oh yeah, the main gator gonna chomp you. But then I do genuinely love this movie.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, and it is a favorite film of mine because it is, like I said, it is Grandma's chocolate chip cookies. It is easy. It is relaxing to watch for me. And it is like, the first time I watched it in the theaters, I was like, ooh boy, I got riled up.
Yeah.
It's a thrilling flick.
I feel like the theater experience on this one is probably crucial to
It was
liking it.
superior to watching it at home. I will
Yeah.
say that.
Having an experience of watching a creature feature in a theater on the big screen versus watching it on my 30-inch television
Yeah.
in my bedroom alone. It probably is going to add a lot to
For sure.
this for you. However, is a movie good if it doesn't hold up both ways? I don't
think
know.
so. Because it holds up both ways for me. I still have fun watching it.
All right, so let's start with the story. So we start in, basically centers around this young girl, Haley.
Mm-hmm.
So she is on a swim team or something. Swim class, swim team, something like that.
She's on the University of Florida swim team.
There you go. And what's their mascot?
Gators.
Yeah. Wow, that's...
I love it. I love that little tiny thing.
Couldn't be cornier. So, first thing she does is FaceTime her sister in the locker room. In the locker room?
Hey, I'm not gonna say anything. If I'm in a I do not enjoy being in a locker room. But if someone FaceTimed in a locker room, I'd just be like, that's your business. I'm just going to do what I do in every locker room and try to get out as fast as I can.
But they're putting your ass on their phone.
That's why I'm trying to get out.
For their friends and family.
I don't know. It's Florida. Maybe they can't get naked in the locker room.
They're a swim team. They have to be naked.
They only get naked in the pool, in the shower.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that was rude and illegal.
I've literally never thought about that. That does not strike against the movie. I don't give a shit. That makes it funny.
I don't think anything's going to change your opinion on this movie. So the sister informs her that there's a hurricane coming and their dad is not answering his phone and he lives like in the Florida sticks, basically. The town's evacuating. At the beginning with her and the sister, and then later with her and the dad, basically first thing, like, they're doing so much. They're doing so much, like, exposition of their...
Oh, yeah.
Like, the one sister's like, oh, you're just like dad because you're stubborn and hard-headed. Oh, yeah, well, you're like mom because you're sensitive and whatever. You know, like, just shit nobody would ever say to each other.
Look, this movie...
Just saying out loud their entire backstory.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a movie...
Something you love, tell and not show. Notoriously.
This movie upends all... Like, when I called Mandy a perfect movie, those four things, this doesn't have much of it. It doesn't have romantic love.
Uh-huh.
It does have father-daughter love, a love I don't know, but I generally respect. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. That doesn't bother me. But this movie is all about respect. Alright? This is like joining the mafia.
Colin's making Italian hands.
This is about respect. This is a movie that respects its audience.
Every time Colin says respect, he makes the Italian hands.
Respect. So well! Because A, 90 minutes.
Uh-huh.
On the dot, I
Yeah.
believe. B, They are getting all that floofy stuff out on the top. We're gonna have this story make sense, but we're not gonna, like, we don't have to put subtext into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. It's just like, daughter is strained with dad, go, drive.
Yeah.
The movie says, you're busy, we understand. Let's just get moving.
That is like the one, there may be, at the end, there will be 2 main positive takeaways. And one is that the pacing is, like, it really does move quickly.
It moves. Yes.
I remember, like, I thought I'd just been sitting there for a minute and I paused to, like, do something and, like, an hour had gone by already.
Yeah.
It went pretty fast.
I love a well-paced movie. I said this the other day about the fast movies, but they're just so well-paced. It's just because you're constantly in something new or a new challenge is being introduced pretty regularly at a pretty regular interval.
Yeah.
I love it.
So she stops by her dad's first house and he's not home, and then goes to their family mansion where she later finds him.
Mansion?
The place is really big.
It is a large Florida
mansion.
No. Hard disagree. It is not a mansion.
Uh-huh.
Especially a Florida mansion. I've seen a Florida mansion, and a Florida mansion is long. Takes up a lot of space.
Okay, so it's a short mansion.
This is a tall house. There's only what? I mean, they get to the roof, but I feel like every level, the 3 levels of the house are 15 feet high. They're enormous.
Yeah.
The basement, the main floor, and the upstairs.
And there's an attic.
There is an attic for a little bit. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That doesn't count as a level.
You can stand up in it.
Anyway.
More than you can in the basement.
A mansion? I think not. I would not call it a mansion. This is a 4-bedroom house.
A large 4-bedroom house.
I'd say this is a normal 4-bedroom size house.
Either way, the man owns 2 houses, which is 2 more than either you or I.
Look, depiction is not endorsement. Just because this man has 2 houses, a position with I disagree and think is immoral. I don't care. He's fictional. He's made up. Who gives a fuck?
And him and his daughter both have large, newer cars. He has a large truck. She has a large SUV. When she pulls up to the house, you see his truck, which has a license plate that reads Matt 725. So Matthew 725 in the Bible. Bible verse Matthew 7:25. Okay. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock.
This all adds up. This is not surprising to me. I just didn't give a shit. This makes total sense. Yes, we're dealing with, like,
with evangelical rich Republicans in Florida.
Yes, like, who is just fucking going around. Republican is a stretch. I would say...
They live in Florida.
I'd say just, this guy is not a Republican, he's a MAGA chud.
What's the difference?
MAGA folk hate Republicans. But they also hate Democrats more. But, so they, like, end up having to be Republicans. It's how I feel about...
Colin's doing all kinds of stretching.
It's how I feel about the Democratic Party. Like, I fucking loathe them. To account for
why these Republicans are good.
Okay, here we go. I do not think they are good people.
Okay.
I just happen to find the story they're in enthralling.
Also, should be noted that all the vehicles in the movie have both front and rear plates when only rear plates are required in Florida. So there's a flub by the production.
Womp womp. They went over on budget for license plates.
Yeah, so should have paid attention to that detail. Also, should say, this was filmed in Serbia, which seems wild.
Incredible. Incredible. I love it. 100% for, like, some tax reason to,
Absolutely.
Like, save $1 billion.
They got, like, a 25% tax back or something. I know. So when she pulls up to the house, there's no power. One of the first things I noticed was she was wearing flip-flops in a hurricane, which seems insane.
I've thought about that a lot.
That was apparently a character trait that the actress personally fought for. She's like, my character's a swimmer. She would be wearing flip-flops.
I don't
Unhinged.
think I've talked to a swimmer in a long time. So maybe.
You know what I was thinking on my ride over here? Also, we never said into the pod, but we're in person today.
Oh, yeah!
Rare for us. This is like our 4th in-person episode ever.
Yeah.
So I had a long drive down here today. It's like 4.5 hours. And I was thinking, is wearing flip-flops straight culture?
Yes. It is.
Because I was like, I don't even know that I know a person who owns flip-flops or that would wear them.
I would wear them. Lindsay does not let me wear flip-flops. Lindsay bought me a pair of
You have sandals.
Yes,
Yeah.
sandals.
Yeah.
They're like knockoff Birkenstocks.
A sensible sandal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yes, I would wear a flip-flop.
Uh-huh.
Solely because it is just there.
Yeah.
If I go to a Target, they've got flip-flops right there, and that's what you wear to the beach, right? And I had never been told differently.
Mm-hmm.
We're never told differently.
We're never informed about a sensible sandal
No.
growing up.
I certainly wasn't.
I distinctly remember wanting a pair of Birkenstocks as a child.
That's
A
insane.
young child, under 10. And my mom saying, you can't have them, Birkenstocks are for lesbians.
Oh, well, sorry, Mom.
So yeah, a hint at both of us.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so the flip-flops was a little unhinged of a choice.
I love it. I think it rules. It's, you know, you're right. I've been this whole time recording, I've been doing this wrong. I've been trying to kick against your assertions. You're not wrong about any of this.
You just feel differently about the same
I just feel differently
facts.
about the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just love it. I just think it rocks. Yeah, she is wearing flip-flops and it's pouring down rain, and every time I see that, I know that feeling. Because I, for some reason, have been in flip-flops and rain several times.
Mm-hmm.
And it always sucks. And I respect her for doing it.
And it's not only rain, it's a fucking hurricane.
It's dangerous for her to be doing this. It's
also,
flip-flops.
driving with flip-flops is illegal.
Yeah,
And it's just
whatever.
hard for me to think of, like, a rich evangelical Republican who's friends with cops doing something illegal.
She is friends with a cop. Well, it's like her cop friend is more like just like someone you went to high school with.
She's friends with the cops so hard that they know where her dad lives, come
Florida.
to personally check on him, even
Just
though
Florida.
millions of people are having to evacuate.
Yes, some people... Hey, if I were in her situation, I'd be happy I knew that dang... Well, we'll get to it.
Oh, Colin's obsessed with cops now.
Yeah, after Krull. Krull is...
Propaganda.
Yeah, Krull is red-pilling me, and I am now pro-cops. Nope. Cut that out.
Okay, we have that on record. And Colin canceled again.
You can try. You got, what, 3 days left in this dang year?
Wait, does cancellation, like, end your subscription to a cancellation
Yeah.
ends at the end of the year?
Yeah, you can't cancel me in 2021 unless you subscribe or something.
Incredible. Okay, so when she's in the kitchen, a tree comes through the window, and it's our first cheap jump scare.
It is.
And so she can't find Dad on any of the normal levels. He's not answering, so she goes under the house.
Yes.
Which is nasty. It's nasty under there.
It is very nasty. Especially, you think, like, Florida, on the water.
There's webbies, there's creatures.
We see how nasty it is.
There's dead creatures everywhere. There's alive creatures everywhere.
This... Look,
Their house is fucking infested.
I think every house in Florida is infested. I think if you live in that...
Infested with Floridians, first of all.
Got him.
Hey, call the exterminator.
No, but I think if you live...
Sorry, Florida friends.
If you live in Florida, on the coast to some extent, you're just accepting that critters are cohabitating with you.
I live like a block away from a river.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much in that same position. I can't imagine living in the actual, like, damn Everglades and shit.
It is a nasty... Yeah, the crawl space is nasty. Not crawl. Crawl space.
Wait, is that what they called it, crawl? What?
No, maybe. Maybe.
I've been wondering why they called it crawl.
Well, gators crawl. That's what
But they don't really, though. They're all in this movie. They're always swimming. They never even come out of the water.
Opening when they're in the crawl space. The first chomp, that gator's in mud, baby.
I don't know. Interesting.
They probably did call it crawl because 30 minutes of it, 40 minutes takes place in that crawl space.
I would say an hour 20 in that crawl space, and the other 10 is
10
outside
minutes
of it.
is up. It is a long time in the crawl space.
There's like 3 minutes up top of not in the crawl space, and then there's like probably 3 minutes at the end.
I have never
5 minutes at the end outside of the crawl space.
I have never thought critically about this movie before, and I tell you what, I am losing my mind right now because I'm picturing, because I know this movie so well, and I'm just going through the movie and all the settings, the little settings that happen in the crawl space, and it's massive.
That's what I'm telling
And
you. They live in a mansion and you've never realized it.
The house isn't that big! It's just the crawl space that's big!
They have a crawl space bigger than their actual house.
Apparently! Because they had the house, the normal house, and he was like, I want more underneath.
Yeah.
He's like part mole man.
So he just went under there and started digging away. Yeah. Oh my god, I wish this was on video. This needs to be a video ep. Oh my god, yeah. Also, another corny thing, the last name of the father and daughter is Keller, which is the German word for basement. So
That's not corny to me. That's funny. That is a funny thing to make a last name.
For a movie that takes place entirely in a basement, essentially.
Pretty funny.
Again, creative. They're very
Imagine
creative.
if you were watching Tenet, a movie I've not seen, and the main character's name is Tennant Smith.
I think the movie's called Tenet, by the way. So it's the same backwards and forwards.
I don't care.
Collie's unraveling. I love
This
it.
movie's so good.
Oh my god. She comes in the basement. She finds her dad passed out with a scrape on his shoulder.
Look, that is very cool.
And then we get our first glimpse of the Crawl Daddy.
This
AKA Crocodile. Even though they're all alligators.
They're all gators.
Yeah.
This is the main gator.
Mm-hmm.
People have asked me, who's the main gator?
First we said Shin Godzilla was the main gator.
We did say that. But
This is the second main gator.
this is the main gator for this hemisphere. Wait, are hemispheres...
Oh god, we don't know what hemispheres are.
Fuck.
Colin threw out a word we
On
didn't
this
know what it meant.
continent, I'm pretty sure we're in the same hemisphere as Japan.
I don't know, because then there's like
Northern-
Eastern and Western and then Northern
Western
and
hemisphere.
Southern.
Are there...
I don't fucking know.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Folks, we
Yeah,
don't know
I'm
shit
so...
about
It makes me
hemispheres.
grateful that the Earth is flat.
Collie's gotten us in too deep, revealing.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm actually... Watching Crawl was...
We did both graduate high school, and one of us graduated college. So
Yeah, but I didn't study geography.
I got straight A's in high school, and I don't know damn shit. Exposed. So Daddy wakes, and we get kind of a... What is this?
That's a crawl. That's what the noise the gators make.
Her and her dad have to sequester in this safe corner of the basement or whatever. And we're tallying up his injuries.
Yep.
He's got a scrape on his shoulder. He's got his legs broken. The bones are coming out everywhere.
Yeah.
That was nasty to me.
He's just beat up.
I'll tell you, I find shit like that way nastier to look at than anything in Relaxer.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Relaxer, here's I think for me, it's because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I've never crossed my pray to God, I have never broken a bone.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a bone protrude through skin in person, I don't think.
I don't think I have either. God, we better knock on wood.
I know. I have you ever broken a bone?
No.
Ugh. I feel...
Is this too much for pod? I've seen someone lose a finger.
Oh, you've talked about that.
Okay. And I had to hold the finger in a towel.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts.
But both halves of it.
That's pretty nuts. That's pretty fucking nuts.
So that's not exactly breaking a bone, but in a way it is.
It was so much more visceral. You know, like, I'm numb to that kind of gore. Mm-hmm. To, like, I mean, he has a scene later where he, like,
the splint?
The splint. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word. Putting the splint in his leg, and he's, like, screaming in pain, and it looks fucked up. That, for me, is, like, okay, like, I know there's a distance between me and that. Mm-hmm. With me and Relaxer and that, like, vibe, I know I am one bad decision away from ending back up in that room.
So that's what was gross about it to you, is that you feel like you could end up there.
Yes.
Again.
Relaxer...
If you don't make your moves right.
Relaxer is what would happen to me left to my own devices.
Yeah.
Without any sort of... Because I run a very well-supported ship. A lot of people... You, Lindsay, my work, people like that kind of keep me on this path. If all that goes away, yes, I will just end up sweaty and in my boxers on the couch playing video games.
Pissing into a milk jug.
Just upsetting to look at, be around.
Incredible.
It's a more visceral react. It's a more
Okay. That kind of makes sense.
Gets at my soul. Whereas this, I just know, like, this is run-of-the-mill gore. Mm-hmm. This felt like nothing because of another movie I watched recently that was one of the hardest movies to watch.
Are you saving that for the end?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little,
teaser? A little spice?
A little teaser for the end, folks.
Yeah.
Alright, they're in this safe zone, and she realizes that somehow her phone has ended up across the room. Well, across the room is, maybe overstating. It's about 6 feet away from their safe zone.
It is.
But they spend about 7 minutes getting her to that phone.
Yeah! You know why?
Yeah.
Crawling.
Yeah, that's
crawling.
True. Yeah. And when she gets there, so it takes her so long because she's afraid of the gators. She's
understandably.
A gator freighter.
I'm very afraid of gator.
Sure.
I've been probably within 6 feet of a gator before. Mm-hmm. I've been to a Florida it was a wildlife preserve, and it's different now if you ever go there. But at the time, there were just gators around, and you could theoretically just walk up and touch a gator, and I was terrified.
Gators notoriously don't attack people unprovoked. They're actually mostly afraid of people. Mm. I actually have the...
Did you do some gator research?
I did a little bit of gator research, and in the past 81 years, only 24 people have died from alligator-related injuries.
Hell yeah.
And only a handful of humans were found in that 81 years fed upon. Oh, but it's unclear if they were probably just drowned beforehand and already dead and then got chomped up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because gators normally eat things way smaller than people, like small birds, fish, other reptiles, and small animals. Mm-hmm. They don't usually go after humans in that way. However, crocodiles...
Crocodiles are a different story?
Different story.
I knew there's a reason I didn't like them as much.
Yeah. Crocs love to eat people. About 1,000 people die every year.
Wow!
Due to crocodile attacks, yeah. And they will straight up come at you.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's wild.
I love gators.
And crocs will eat anything, including large mammals, like, they'll eat anything. Damn. Gators, not as much cause to really be afraid of them. They might do a warning bite. If they feel threatened. But yeah, generally they're afraid of people.
I have a healthy respect of gators, and I will stay a healthy distance.
She goes out to get her phone.
Yep.
And
she's sneaking around,
trying to get her not be noticed by the gator. So when she gets to her phone, instead of just going back the 6 feet back into the safe zone, she instead sits there in the middle of the joint, trying to call 911 and not being able to do it. It's like my dream. I have this dream all the time where I try and call somebody and I can't figure out how numbers work. Many times it's been the cops. I've been trying to call the cops and I can't figure out how to dial 911. Or like I end up texting instead of calling or something with the phone. That's what she's doing in this.
Yeah, she's stressed out and she's making a wrong decision. But you know what? These are fallible people. These are just like you and me, Joe Schmoes.
So, of course, she gets her leg bit. The gator smashes her phone.
Folks, these scenes are incredible. Not only getting her leg bit is nutso, because first off, we have a gator burst through
there's
wall.
2 gators.
Now we're at 2 gators. Ugh! She has to get one gator's head in a cage, and then, when she gets bit, you think she's done for. And then she finally, she gets away, she kicks it. Is this a screwdriver?
It might be. I didn't write the screwdriver into my notes.
I think it is. She screwdrivers one's eye to get away, and then she's got a real fucked up leg, and then someone's trying to call her phone, and her phone's in the mud, and a gator just steps on it and breaks it. Incredible! My heart's racing.
Yeah, so she ends up in a different safe zone corner spot.
They're all over.
She ties up her leg with a piece of fabric or something, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Doing the classic tie-off, heroin tie-off.
I know what to do when I get hurt now.
Yeah.
You just tie something near it.
Yeah. By the time she ties up her leg, which is like a 0.5 seconds, there's a foot of water on the ground.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the place is flooding.
Yeah. There's already a solid foot. In fact, we know this because the dad takes out a measuring tape and measures the depth of the water.
He's a working man. He's a handy guy, I relate.
All right, so this is the point when we see across the street there is a convenience store, gas station sort of thing. And it's being robbed by 3 people.
3 heroes.
Literal heroes, because these people's names are Marv, Stan, and Lee.
Oh, wow.
And a nod to Marvel creator Stan Lee.
Shut up, Sam Raimi. I don't care. Whatever, that's pretty dumb. I don't care, they get chumps.
They're trying to just straight up take an ATM away.
Yeah.
And we've got White Girl Cornrows, incredible, and they all get ate up.
They get ate up, but they do establish themselves very quickly as just like I know Midwest trash, but they're just Florida trash. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh yeah, the White Girl Cornrows, the guy on the inside of the convenience store who just grabs a hot dog because he's like, I can get whatever I want.
Yeah.
And he grabs an old hot dog and takes a bite and he's like, well, I guess that's good. The dumbest
people.
An
old bear hot dog that's like in a pizza warmer. It's not even on the rollers. It should have been on the rollers with all that crusty hot dog goo that's always on those things.
So, I don't know, literally anything else there, and he's grabbing the worst stuff.
Yeah, and...
R.I.P. to Marv, Stan, and Lee.
Probably my favorite death in the movie, though, is the first guy, like, being smashed up against the window while the other guy's inside or whatever.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool death.
It's tense. The tension is built very well. All, corniness aside, it is a movie that I think is at least self-aware. It knows it's not reinventing the wheel, but it is at least saying, here's something good. Here's a well-done standard. Mm-hmm. This is that original? Not really. But it just...
There were, when I was researching, there are apparently a whole bunch of, direct nods to Jurassic Park. But there was a lot of it, and I didn't write any of it down. So if you want to read about that stuff, feel free to Google it.
Sure. Go ahead.
But apparently a lot of this has similarities with Jurassic Park as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Next thing I wrote in my notes was that I was just thinking about how miserable this movie seemed to shoot.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Because you're wet the whole time, basically. And then I read the main actress was talking about she was doing 16 to 18-hour days for a 40-day shoot. She broke her finger at one point and kept filming, apparently, and didn't tell anybody till the end of the day. And because she chose to be barefoot, she was always cut up on the bottom of her feet.
Sure, yeah.
And she actually brought her mom to Serbia with her to take care of her at the end of the day.
Mama Scodelario.
to make sure she was fed and taken care of.
Yeah.
And she is 27, so I just thought that's an interesting...
I would not take my mom, but...
No.
if you're close to your mother, go ahead.
It's just like, Mom, I'm baby, please.
If you can get away with it.
Sure, I guess so. But yeah, it does seem like pretty miserable environment. Always wet for 40 days.
Just like,
Probably.
You said it was a closed tanks.
It was like everything was tanks, and the water was like so closely monitored, and like the temp was regulated and everything.
Sure.
So the water itself probably wasn't that miserable, but just the fact, like, I don't want to be wet that much.
No, I don't like being pruny.
No, me neither.
I don't like getting pruny.
I don't like being wet, really, at all.
Yeah, I want to be as dry as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, that's the dream. Kind of my life's motto. So the first door to the crawl space has been blocked by gators. They're hovering around the first doorway. So her dad's like, oh wait, I just remembered there's a second door. So she goes to try and unlatch that door, which is stuck, but in her pushing up on it,
what does she knock down on herself?
Had to close my eyes.
Yeah. 1 billion spiders.
Had to close my eyes on that one.
Yeah.
Why is it always 1 billion? One spider is scary.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, well, I would say I am more afraid of many spiders than one spider. Mm-hmm. The fear does go up with each additional spider.
If there was like 3 spiders in that corner, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, but the effect of seeing so many crawl all over her face, even if you weren't looking, it is cooler or more jarring.
I guess. It just seems more unrealistic, though.
It is. It was
spiders
also
don't really chill like that.
Unnecessary, but...
Yeah, it was unnecessary.
I don't care. I didn't care. It doesn't hinder my experience. It takes 10 seconds.
So then her cop friends show up at the house.
Yeah.
My next note is, he and his buddy get ate the fuck up.
Gators say ACAB, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, gators say ACAB. They are like...
That's our tattoo.
Hell yeah. They do. They're like, fuck this shit. You're not... This is the gator, or the crawlverse here. In real world, gators are much cooler. They would not fuck with people. In the crawlverse, though, gators love to hunt.
And say ACAB.
And say ACAB. If we can get both of them at the same time, that's ideal.
Yeah.
If we can hunt ACAB, yeah. And they get to. Good for them.
Yeah, they eat 2 cops, so they're helping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we see the outside cop get ate, that's when we realize just how many gators there are.
Yeah, because, like, one gator, it's wild how he gets eaten. He gets, like, thrown by a gator. Uh-huh. He's, like, knee-high in water and gets thrown by a gator.
It is really funny in this movie. Several times people get, like, lashed around by gators and smashed from left to right or just wiggled around. It is pretty funny effect.
They also, when Kayla Scodelario, she handles anything. She gets the shit beaten out of her in this by gators and is fine.
Just jumps up. Yeah. Yep. She's cool. Good to go.
But this guy would not be fine because he gets thrown, and this is used in other movies where just, like, animals feast on a body. I am thinking of Deep Blue Sea for some reason, but that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Because Samuel L. Jackson gets eaten by, like, 4 sharks. Mm-hmm. So it's a classic pulled apart by gators, and it looks very cool, and it's all bloody.
The water goes red, etc.
It's badass.
Her and her dad have a big family talk at this moment, which seemed like the opportune moment to talk about how she blames herself for her parents' divorce.
Yeah.
And he remembers when she was a kid and learned to hold her breath underwater for a long time by going outside while her parents were sleeping and getting in the pool.
Look, when you say all this shit...
Which you should not do, first of all.
When you say everything one after the other, it doesn't sound great, but...
Drowning is the number 2 leading cause of death for kids under the age of 14.
She's the apex predator.
And it's the number 1
She's the apex predator. You don't get it.
Oh my gosh.
Apex predator all day.
So your tiny child's out there swimming alone at night while the parents are asleep.
If it's to become the apex predator...
He looks out the window and just smiles and nods and goes back to bed.
Apex predator. Go to bed.
Seeing his daughter. Wait, so she's learning how to hold her breath, too. So he looks out the window, sees his daughter underwater outside in the middle of the night, smiles, nods, and goes back to bed.
He's already admitted he's not a great father, okay? He admitted it. We don't need to roast the fella. We don't need to drag him. He knows parenting isn't for everyone.
My next note, he has depression.
Well.
And then he gets a good line in, best line of the movie. We're gonna beat these pea-brained lizard shits.
I don't like that. Actually, I don't like that line. That disrespects the gators.
It's a pretty good line.
It is. I agree.
So then she stumbles on a nest of gator eggs.
This is wild. This is the part where earlier when I was like, I'm picturing the whole crawl space and losing my mind.
Uh-huh.
This part...
She's reached another leg of the cavernous...
This is enormous. At this point, have you seen The Descent?
Yeah, but not in a really long time.
But it reminds me of that. It's now a cave movie.
It is a cave movie. I mean, basically, it feels like one.
She's in a cave. I don't know how there's a cave, underwater cave in Florida. That makes sense. Underwater cave in Florida. I'm sure there are a couple.
She's in a cave that just has one wall that's like lattice that could easily be probably punched away that they never do. The eggs, when I saw the eggs, I don't know, it took me out because I was like, the eggs are starting to hatch. My first thought was, these gators only been here for like not that long, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, how long have they been here that these gator eggs are hatching? So gator eggs incubate for 65 days. First of all,
the gators have been there a long time.
I don't think they've been there that long in movie canon.
What? When do you think those gators arrived?
Her dad was passed out from a gator bite, so presumably they've been there for like a day.
You remember earlier when I said when you live in a place like that, you just kind of understand that you're cohabitating with animals?
Also, gators would never have an underground nest because they need sunlight to keep their eggs warm.
Well, there was a little ray of sunlight coming in.
No.
The cave that you didn't see.
No.
All right. So this movie doesn't stand up to, biologists. It doesn't stand up to science or criticism or looking at it. You know what this movie does stand up to?
Huh.
It stands up for me because it respects me.
Oh no. Colin's got Italian hands
This
again.
movie respects me.
This egg nest is also next to this like Goosebumps ass looking ass pipe.
Yeah.
All the glowing green pipe that all the gators are apparently coming in through. It's just a huge pipe that goes right onto the street.
Yeah. What about it?
Okay, next.
You're right. The main difference, I'm acknowledging all of this stuff. Yes, it is just kind of like, yep, that's the gator pipe. It leads into the gator cave, and that goes into downstairs.
Okay.
It is all that, but it's beautiful.
Okay. Meanwhile, Dad is trying to beat a gator to death. A gator bites her arm and she shoots him in the damn throat 3 times and he still doesn't die, basically.
Yeah, so cool. It's so cool. She finds a gun on a dead cop's body, she fucks it, trying to, mess with the gun, make sure it's good. So she, points the gun out to the side and her side, and the gator chomps her whole damn arm up to, her elbow.
Mm-hmm.
And then so badass. She's shooting the gun in his, throat.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Their insides are armored, too.
They are, impossible to kill in this movie. Dad's, fully hitting this thing on the head with a brick, putting a shovel on his head.
It's intense.
He ends up chomping the gator's head with a shovel,
Yeah,
finally breaks through it and chomps it in half.
Pretty much just, shoving a shovel to, separate a gator's head from its body, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal.
But it takes so much for them to even, be injured. They're superhuman.
I mean, yeah. You seen a gator? They seem tough as fuck. Do you think a bullet hurts a gator? You think a bullet, goes into a gator?
Mm-hmm. Look, I've never touched a gator, but I've
either.
touched a lot of snakes and a lot of lizards and reptiles.
Yeah.
And their skin is extremely penetrable.
Okay.
They can chomp up just as easily as anything else.
Okay. There you go.
It just looks like it's not.
It looks super tough, yeah.
But it is not as tough as it looks.
Okay.
So she makes her way through the Goosebumps tunnel and gets outside and comes back upstairs.
Yeah.
And her daddy drowns just as she's opening the floor with a handy crowbar. That happened to be right next to where her dad was.
It's a worker house. He works there. He's always I gotta open this up. I gotta crow it open.
And so he drowns and she has to do CPR and Yeah, he comes back to life.
I don't know why you're saying it so matter-of-factly. A man almost lost his life, and he didn't because his daughter saved him. Do you feel the weight in that?
If only he had practiced holding his breath as she had. Because he holds his breath for 7 seconds and is like, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, he has no lung capacity, whereas she, unlimited lung capacity.
Yeah.
She stays underwater for minutes at a time in this movie.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is there's a little bit of emotion there. He dies. But I feel like you just know he's going to be saved.
The only character I was worried about dying that I gave a shit about was the dog.
The dog. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And apparently the filmmakers, really argued over whether or not the dog should die in this movie. Ultimately, they settled on him living, but...
I'd be pissed if they didn't. It's the right move to have the dog live. And they do it so well. The dog is put in, 2 or 3 situations in which you're like, oh no. Mm-hmm. It's the end for old Rex.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
So I knew Dad was going to be good, so there wasn't that much stakes to it.
Really. I agree.
So they go outside because the boat from the robbers is still across the street. Mm-hmm. So they have to get to the boat to get out of there. And when they go outside, we're introduced to new rules for how the gators find us. Literally 20 minutes left in the movie. We're introduced to these rules that the gators hunt with splashes. So if you don't splash, they won't find you.
It literally disregards a couple...
The entire rest of the movie disregarded. And suddenly they can't find you as long as you move slow.
Look, when you're watching it, you just kind of... If you trust this movie will give you a reward. If you are just like, okay, I'm going to take whatever you tell me. And if midway through they tell you, hey, you know how earlier the gator leapt out of the water to chomp someone and pull them in the water?
Someone who was standing absolutely still.
Someone who was 6 feet above water. No longer the case. Gators, they faux have a T-Rex rule. They hunt by splash. Whatever,
Sure.
Who gives a shit? If you follow all that, if you just accept it, you will have a good time, I promise you.
And he says the rain should cover us, and of course it instantly stops raining.
Yeah.
Now that we've introduced that the rain will cover us, it instantly stops raining.
Well, you know what? They don't want to make it look that easy.
He tells the girl, you have to swim to the boat because you can, quote, swim faster than the gators.
Yep.
Which is humanly impossible. The average adult alligator swims at speeds up to 20 miles per hour. 23-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps tapped out at 6 miles per hour. So...
Wow, is that really how slow swimmers go?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're probably assuming she's slower than a 23-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer, and he only taps out at 6. So...
Wow.
He basically sent his daughter off to die.
6. I thought you were going to be tapped out at 15 miles an hour.
Nope.
No.
6.
Swimming is as boring and slow as we've always thought it was.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, you can probably walk 5 miles per hour, right?
Oh my god, without a doubt.
So they do get the boat, but the levee breaks and they're instantly smashed back into the house. They don't get anywhere on the boat. And while the wave is coming, they just kind of sit there and stare at it. They don't try and power up and move on or anything like that, so.
They're Florida folk. They know how to deal with it. You just kind of get the dog down.
You ride the wave.
And you ride a wave, baby!
They end up back in the house. They have to play the floor is lava because all the crocs are in the lava.
Floor's Crocs.
The floor's Crocs.
Floor's Gators.
And we find a perfectly working walkie-talkie that happens to be floating right by the girl.
It just keeps it moving, Why waste time for a character to search for the next means to continue on when you can just give it to them?
Yeah, sure. Floats right in right next to her, and she uses it to call for help. And then we get the doggy swimming in the hallway to Daddy. That was just a cute little...
Yeah.
The doggy swimming.
He makes it.
One wild thing about this movie is if you look on the IMDb, trivia or whatever, there's maybe, 25 bits of trivia.
Okay.
And I would say 23 of them have to do with how the animals were handled in this movie.
Was it bad?
No, it was like they were trying way too hard to let you know how well the animals
what I
thought in this movie.
Yes, this movie has gone above and beyond with its treatment of animals. That's what I've always thought about it.
Why is there so much info on it?
If you're pro-animal rights to any extent, or at least anti-animal cruelty, this is your kind of movie.
The trivia bits almost went like scene by scene of like, when this girl's standing over here and this person's in the basement, a handler was right here with a treat and they used this trick to do this. And like, it almost went scene by scene for whenever there's an animal in the film.
Guarantee someone like just watched through the special features and just typed all of this trivia.
But there's so much. It's a little unhinged. So anyway, and then, so Dad also gets a perfectly placed treat, which is a vase full of flare sticks that flows right next to him.
Florida, baby!
Oh, look, my flare stick vase. Glad that's floating by. And his arm gets chomped by a gator, and we get more bones coming out.
Its arm's chomped right off.
I don't think it comes off. I think we just see the bones pop out, don't we? He still has an arm.
I thought the gator straight up rips his, like, elbow down arm off.
I don't think
It's been a couple days since I've watched it. Okay.
I think he keeps the arm, but the bones come out.
Okay.
It's fully broken.
It's very nasty.
Yeah, because I remember...
Oh, you're right.
I remember thinking, because in a minute the girl catches up to him and helps him up the stairs by pulling him by the arm. And I was like, is she pulling him by his broken-ass, dead-ass arm? But she wasn't. She was pulling him by the other arm, but he had the broken arm.
I know what you're talking... Yeah, I can picture it now.
She traps a gator in the shower. We saw it in the trailer.
Yeah, that's actually not my favorite part of the movie.
No.
I don't love it.
A little corny.
I wouldn't say it's...
Also, yeah,
it's corny.
I read about how they created the gators just like on set, like how they were acting out the gators.
Yeah.
And it was a combination of a green pillow taped to a stick.
I need to watch the special features because I want to see Kaya Scodelario looking at a green pillow on a stick and saying, "Come on, you son of a bitch!"
It was a combination of that and then a man in one of those like skin-tight green suits.
That's terrifying.
Which she seemed to think was really funny to call a human condom. She mentioned it several times in this article I read from her. Huge laughs.
Very cool.
Very cool, very cool. So, I just think it's funny to, like, picture that happening. Alright, so they have to get to the roof because they're hoping that help will come.
It's flooding, yeah.
And it is flooding. But we have one more foil before we get to the roof, is when she goes to the attic, sees the rescue helicopter outside, and then a gator busts through the window and chomps her shoulder. And is just spinning her around and around by the shoulder.
What's it called? Death spin, I think. Gators do this. This is a, like, killing technique gators have. And if you can ever find a video of a baby gator doing this, though, it's very cute. But she lives, which is unlikely.
Yeah.
That would happen, especially after...
With that level of chomping.
She's been chomped twice. And I tell you what,
She's been chomped 3 times, because she got the leg at the beginning. The arm when she's shooting the gun.
Yep.
And then now the shoulder.
Oh, yeah, this is her 3rd chomp, yes. After 1 chomp, I'm chomped out.
Yeah, no more chomps for me. No, thank you. I'll just sit here until this is over.
I would rather drown than risk being chomped twice.
Yeah, I would not want to be ate up, I don't think.
That's probably number 1. That's how I don't want to die, is eaten.
If I was already dead and then got eaten, I guess whatever. But dying by being eaten seems like one of the more painful ways to go.
Yeah. How does she get out of the death spiral?
She grabs the flare stick and sticks it on his head, which hurts him for some reason when, like, throwing bricks at their head and shooting them in the mouth never hurt them, but having this flare stick on his head hurts him and kills him.
Yeah, it's fire! You ever been burned? It hurts. This gator's just a
Being
gator.
hit in the head with a brick probably hurts pretty bad, too. So they finally make it onto the roof at the last second.
Oh, thank God.
And a helicopter comes, and they're gonna be saved.
And that's it.
That's roll creds.
That is roll creds, and you don't need to know what happens after that.
How much cooler would it have been if they're on the roof, they see the helicopter, big size, the helicopter's coming, and then a gator just snatches them up at the last minute and eats them? That would have been sick.
That would have been sick. The problem with that is the exact same ending as Piranha 3D.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't watch Piranha 3D, so I don't know.
That's what happens to Adam Scott at the end. So he's done that ending before.
He could do it again.
I agree. It is a better ending. The thing is, that ending is useful multiple times. Yes.
Or what if only one of them dies and the other one has to live with it?
Yeah, get a final chomp in.
Or, chomp off their leg or something. Chomp off their leg clean off and they can scream.
I agree. There could have been more chomping.
Something. It just was too, like, the whole movie, you kind of just know these people are gonna live, so, like, the stakes are pretty low, I feel like.
First time watching, I didn't know.
I just felt like they were gonna live.
Yeah.
The only person I was concerned about was the dog.
I feel like I felt like... I mean, the dog is the most concerning. The dog had the most empathy and concern for me.
Yeah.
I think I thought the dad was going to die from getting chomped again. But you're right, yeah. It's not terribly... They don't make you fear for their lives that much.
And then we get the song See You Later, Alligator over the credits, which was also pretty corny. So we rolled creds. The only other thing I had on, like, what would be a positive about this movie was that creature features with the main protagonist being a woman are pretty rare, I feel like. So, I don't know. Point for feminists, I guess.
I tell you what else this movie gets point for.
Huh.
Respect.
Oh, yeah, respect.
It gets a point for respect. It gets a point for feminism. It gets a point for gator representation.
Oh, yeah. But it's bad representation.
You know what I started seeing more and more after this movie came out? People posting about gators. Eventually,
and by people, you mean you?
Resulting in the Gators Daily Twitter account, which you love.
I do love Flat Fuck Friday.
It's Flat Fuck Friday, baby! No, this movie has big Sunday afternoon energy. This is a nice little... I'm putting it on in the afternoon to just chill out to. It's still just fun. This movie lacks, to me, with all the corniness, with all of the cheese in it, with all of the, lack of subtext or anything, I would admit there's not a lot of depth to it. It makes up for in self-awareness and lack of pretension. Crawl is Crawl. Crawl is not going to be your favorite movie for most people. That's fine. Because Crawl is just something that's on TBS that you're watching. Crawl is, this easy, just... You're not going to think about it much after you see it. And it knows that, and it's fine with it. And that's why I fucking love it. It is just alright, but it's so fucking good.
Okay, so what are you going to rate this out of 5?
5 stars.
Oh my god.
5 stars. This is one of my, honest to God, favorite movies. Every time I watch it, I have a great time.
Alright, interesting.
That's it. It's based off of the enjoyment I have, and I love it. I have a great time. It's like taking a laxative.
Okay.
It's not like that at all.
Taking a laxative, not chill at all.
What?
You're in for a night. Have you ever taken a laxative?
I've literally never taken a laxative.
Okay, well, it's not as easy as you think it is.
I've not had trouble pooping. I'm steady Eddie.
You take a laxative, you gotta set aside, first of all, the movement doesn't happen for 3 days. For up to, it's like 24 to 72 hours later.
So you gotta plan.
You have to plan, and then you get stomach cramps, like, real bad for a long time, leading up to.
Big
There's, can be some dry heaving situation, backwards dry heaving.
How many stars do you give this movie? 2.5 is what I'm guessing.
I did not enjoy this movie as much as Kali did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
I don't care.
Especially, I watched another creature feature after this that was really, really good, and it really made it hard to think about this movie positively at all, I would say. I think I'm just gonna give it half a star.
Wow! What a disparity.
When I'm thinking about what did I even enjoy about this movie, there's really nothing. All the characters and actors are forgettable to me. The amount of times I had to cringe or shut my eyes it wasn't a pleasant viewing for me. It did move quickly.
Got great pacing.
If the best thing you can say about a movie is that it was over pretty fast.
Yeah, you fucking hated this movie. Damn. Alright, you're right. You were right. We should not have done this podcast. For a long time, you're like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. I'm like, yeah, no, it's good. It's fine. You'll be fine with it. No, you fucking hated it.
I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. That's fine. More Crawl for me. I'm fine with that. I am confident in my opinion on Crawl.
I think if you want to see a movie like this, they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere, and you could probably find one that's better.
Yeah, it's dime a dozen. It's just, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is steady old Crawl. It is what it is. It is not trying to blow you away. If you hate it, that's fine. That's fine.
And
Crawl,
that's part of why I feel like the theater experience was crucial for this. I don't know that it holds up on a first-time viewing at home.
Hell yeah. It does.
Tweet at us and let us know which one of us is right.
Oh, man. Yeah, is Crawl a 5-star movie or a half-star movie?
Woo! Alright, so would we recommend it?
Yes. Watch Crawl tonight.
It's on Amazon Prime, I guess, if you want to.
That's
Go
what
for it.
You feel like guilty. You have to feel like, oh, yeah, I can't not recommend it.
I mean, I'm like, whatever. Watch it if you wanna, I guess. I think there's probably better ways you can spend your time. But...
Crawl's so good.
Now it's time for Screen Vomit. So, Kali, what else have you been watching?
I have been watching The Phantom of the Opera, 1989, starring Robert Englund.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's fine. Honestly, I did not watch a lot of great stuff. I watched just a lot of trash horror this week, because Christmas is a stressful time, and my, soothing is really trashy B horror.
Mm-hmm.
So I can group all these together because they all get about the same rating.
Mm-hmm.
Phantom of the Opera 89, a movie called Elves from 1989, and Microwave Massacre from 1979.
Okay.
Of those three, I would say only Microwave Massacre is worth watching. Microwave Massacre is insane. Yeah. It is just this guy who, oh my god, his wife has a new microwave, and she makes all his lunches in the microwave. And they're too gourmet for him to eat at his construction job. So at one point, early in the movie, he opens up a crab sandwich. There's just a crab, a red crab between two buns, and he's like, oh, my wife. And that is his whole character, is how much he hates his wife.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Until the point that he kills his wife.
Oh, Jesus.
And microwaves her.
Okay, this is your type of movie.
Side note, the construction site he works at, women cannot stop showing up to it and taking their clothes off.
Was this movie made by a construction worker?
It's insane. That's all I've described the first 10 minutes to.
Wow.
It is intense. Hard recommend for Microwave Massacre.
Okay.
The movie I referenced earlier, that as just a very hard movie to watch, is called Tetsuo the Iron Man, also from 1989. That was my year this week, I guess.
That was the year I was born.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Tetsuo the Iron Man is this... So it's black and white, and it's filmed like an industrial band's music video. It's like a Nine Inch Nails music video. The texture, it's a lot of metal. It's a lot of close-up shots of metal, panning shots over metal. And so you really see this texture of it in this unsettling fashion. And then all of this metal is inserted into bodies. So, the first thing that happens in the movie, a character cuts open his leg and sticks just a rod of metal in, and then begins screaming. And that's basically, it's a body horror flick, and is intense. It's short, it's only 60-some, 70-some minutes, but it's incredibly well done. It is so artistic and stylized. The way the director depicts going from one location to another is stop motion. So it's just character stop motioning their way from one place to another. It's so intense.
How did you find this movie?
I don't know. Just fucking Letterboxd list. That's how I find movies now.
Yeah?
I hard recommend for Tetsuo the Iron Man, if you have the stomach for it. It is very, if you're not into gore, if you're not into, gnarly shit, do not watch it. It has more to it than just gore. I do mean it is, very stylized. Outstanding.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What have you been watching?
Alright, so I have watched, 30 things in the,
Go off.
in the last week, but I'm not gonna name everything I watched because it's just too much. So I'm gonna do a Cliff's Notes for once.
Okay.
I have been posting most of everything I'm watching on our Instagram stories, though. So if the listeners want to follow our Instagram at Screen Vomit. Okay, so first of all, I watched through Search Party.
Okay.
I had never seen it before. I watched through it so fast. I watched through it in like a day or two.
2 seasons, right?
There's 3 seasons.
Okay.
And the 4th season is about to come out in January, and Andre Hyland's in the 4th season, who we love. So
yeah.
I don't know like how big his part is or anything, but he's in the trailer for it. So so I wanted to be up to date on that by the time that comes out. So I watched through Search Party, loved it, really good show. You seen it?
Hell yeah. No, I've heard great things.
Yeah. It's much different than I conceptualized it. I never knew what the premise was exactly, but I don't know why I conceptualized it as like a show like Girls or like Broad City or something that's just like, you know, a group of pals like slice of life type of thing.
I'm aware of the plot, and it's... I mean, just season 1 plot. I know it
is not what I thought at all.
I know it gets... I've heard it gets, like...
It's like murder mystery, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's intense, like, dark comedy.
Yeah.
It was really cool and really not what I expected, and yeah, it was really good. Okay, so I also watched... I might name just a couple things.
Please, just name...
I feel like I just watched so much and I want to talk about it all, but I shouldn't talk about it all. It's too much. So I watched The Revenant with Leo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy.
Is it worth watching?
It's quite long. I watched it in 3 parts. It's 2.5 hours.
Okay.
But it is very good and it's very pretty.
Okay.
It's like very cinematic. The director specifically sought out locations in Canada that had never been filmed or captured on camera at all. What I knew about it going in was Leo's in it and there's a long bear attack scene.
Yes.
So I fast forwarded through the bear attack scene, if I'm being honest. I don't want to watch that. But yeah, it was a good, wild ride. I watched Death Becomes Her for the first time.
Oh, with Bruce Willis.
Goldie Hawn and...
Meryl Streep.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, the first bit was a little bit slow, but the second half was good and fun and
nice.
Cool.
I know the cover of that movie very well.
Mm-hmm. It was really interesting. I had heard some people talk about it, including Mackenzie Davis, on a podcast about just like how weird and wild it was. So I watched it, and it was pretty good, pretty fun. I watched, this was the other creature feature I watched, was this movie called Of Unknown Origin.
Okay.
Which I sort of mentioned on our Black Rainbow episode, was directed by Panos Cosmatos' dad, George P. Cosmatos.
Okay.
And it was Panos' favorite movie that his dad directed. It is maybe one of the best creature features I've ever seen.
Oh my god, it has fucking Peter Weller in it from RoboCop.
Yeah, and he's mainly the whole movie is him doing stuff. It's really insane. List. Basically, this man
5 stars
goes nuts trying to get a rat out of his house is the concept. And it just goes wild. And it's very it's really creatively done. Some of the shots are just really cool, cool angles. It's really cool. It's very memorable. Really interesting story. So recommend that, Of Unknown Origin. Oh gosh, I still have so many things in here.
Keep going. I'm having a ball.
So, we did Relaxer a few episodes ago, and I have since gone down a Joel Petrakis, the director, rabbit hole. So I watched all of his movies. All of his movies except for one. So I watched Coyote, Ape, and Buzzard, which is the animal trilogy that he did. All very good. I highly recommend Buzzard. That one was so funny. Very, very funny movie. Recommend all of them. Whatever. They're all good.
Hell yeah.
I've been loving it. That's it. That's all I'm going to mention.
Okay.
If you want to know all the stuff I've been watching, follow us on Instagram. And you can follow my personal Letterboxd at Grandma. GRAMMAW.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to drop your Letterboxd?
Yeah, my Letterboxd, I'm assuming, is just Lawboy at Law.
Yeah. So follow our personal Letterboxd.
Yeah, that's where we're dropping stuff. Honest to God, I try to watch a movie, if not every day.
Yeah.
I probably aim for it every day.
I've been trying to, so I notoriously watch a lot of TV shows.
Yeah.
So what I've been trying to do is after I finished Search Party, I was like, I'm not going to start another show intentionally so that every time I sit down, I have to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Or at least start a movie.
Hell yeah.
instead of watching a show. Because I just don't watch as many movies as I want anymore, and my list is getting bigger and bigger, and so I'm like, I need to start getting cultured.
Yeah. You don't really Yeah.
I am getting cultured.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are like short films and stuff too if I don't want to sit down for that long. I've been watching some short films. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm trying to watch a lot of movies. And I'm off work for 10 days right now. So there's also that. It's movie town for sure. All right. We're at the end now.
We made it.
If you like us, you can follow us on Instagram and everywhere else at Screen Vomit, one word on all the things. Give us a subscribe on your podcast app if you haven't already. Give us a rating and review. Send us an email at screenvomitpod@gmail.com with your thoughts on this movie. Let us know which one of us is right. Give us your thoughts on other movies. Suggest movies for us freaking movie freak heads that are watching movies constantly right now. Check out Kali's other podcast, How to Fire Your Boss, which is also on all the things. Next week, we're gonna remain unhinged as we watch The Prom.
Oh, God, I forgot that was next. Fuck me. All right, yeah.
So we're going to watch it so that y'all don't have to. And as the only queer podcaster from Indiana, I feel like we have to insert our take on this film.
Yeah, we do.
And so we're going to bite the bullet for y'all.
I don't know how I keep ending up watching a James Corden. I watch one James Corden movie a year, I think. And I don't know how it keeps happening.
Yeah.
I watched Cats this year. That one I'm happy I watched.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.
Crawl is red pilling me, and I am now pro cops.